Hello and, whoa, almost fell. Hello and welcome to another out of spec motoring video. In this video, we are going on a road trip, and it's actually a pretty big one. Road trips are back, friends, and we have a Mustang Mach-E extended range all-wheel drive for the trip. Let's talk about the setup, where we're going, why we're going, and all the good stuff. It's going to be a long one, but you guys like that, as do I. So let's have a good road trip, leaving here, Colorado, on a beautiful sunny day. This is the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E First Edition. This grabber blue color is only available in the First Edition and soon to be released GT version, which will be the fast one. Currently, this is the highest power Mustang on sale, has about 350 horsepower, so it's pretty quick, but not like a Model 3 Performance quick. That'll be the GT. We'll be competing with the Model Y Performance, and has 270 miles of EPA rated range. So I'm excited to see how close we match that on the highway. Maybe we'll do a little range testing. That'll be for another video, of course. And we need to talk about the charging curve and our road trip strategy. You can see here I have it charging on my Tesla wall connector with a Tesla to J1772 adapter, and this will keep us, actually I believe we're already at 100% state of charge. I think the answer is yes. All right, let me tell you a little bit about where we're going. We are going from here in Fort Collins, Colorado at our new home all the way to Los Angeles, California, where I have to go do some range testing and a review. Porsche was really nice and invited me to drive sort of a pre-production European spec Taycan rear wheel drive with German plates. I love driving European plated cars in the US, and so that'll be cool. So I said, yeah, I definitely got to go do that, do the range test video for some of our other channels, and we're going. So this 330e PHEV needs to charge, so let me unplug the Mustang, plug in the BMW. You can see our review on this on Out of Spec Reviews. That's another one of our channels, and I highly recommend it if you like all cars. We still review EVs. So we're going to take the Mustang fully charged to Los Angeles. We're going to test two things I'm really interested in. One is the charging strategy. If you haven't, I did a deep dive into this charging curve video on Out of Spec Reviews that actually went up this morning, and by the time you're seeing this, it would have been a week old or so. And this is a really wild charging curve. It limits your charging speed at max current based on the time that you plugged in. So basically, if you plug in at 0%, you'll only get a short period of time at 160 kilowatts. But if you plug in at 20%, you'll get a bit more. And so it really, we're going to have to figure out how to road trip this thing. What's the ideal pull-in state of charge? And we definitely do not want to go past 80% state of charge, because as soon as you tip over to 80, it drops to 12 kilowatts on the DC fast charging curve, which is just insane. So we're going to have to do all of this trip running between 0 and 80% state of charge. Of course, we'll full charge it overnight at hotels if we can find hotels with chargers. This is going to be great. I just activated plug-in charge. I've done this through the Ford Pass website. I signed up, put in all my details there, giving us 250 kilowatt hours free, which is really nice. And then the rest will go on my credit card, I guess. So let's try it out. Jump in and see if the route planner routes us through fast chargers on the way to Los Angeles. The car just finished charging here at 100%, so let's close the flap. Of course, it's CCS J1772. It'll do 48 amp onboard charging here on AC, and then a peak I've seen of 167 kilowatts. Here's Alyssa. You're not coming on this trip.
No.
We're basically going on a road trip to drive. Let's plug in the 3 Series here. This one only has a 16 amp onboard charger, 3.7 kilowatts. Not that fast, but it does have a 12 kilowatt hour battery, which how many of that 12 kilowatt hour battery is usable?
I don't know.
Yeah, not 9 kilowatt hours. It's got a pretty big buffer. Saying goodbye to Blue. Bye, buddy. We'll miss you. Bye, Appa. He's like pretty much a part of the family now. And where's Ellie? Ellie, there you are. Goodbye. See you all in, I don't know, 4 to 5 days, something like that. Well, we are charged up to 100%. You can see an indicated 212 miles. Again, EPA, this car is 270, but I've been ripping it around, so 200 sounds about right, 210. That's honestly what I get about on my Model 3 Performance long range, again, on the highway. This Ford keeps setting off this laser system here. I wonder if it has to do with the eye tracking. So I'm going to have to shut laser off on the Escort Max 360 right there. Have the GoPro there for your driving footage, and now let's take a look as to how the trip planner works here. So what I think I'm going to do is type in Los Angeles, the city of angels. And then where we're going is actually in Gardena to pick up the Porsche at their special thing. Why can't I type? I'm clicking everything wrong here because I'm looking at my phone. We're going to go back to nav, and we'll see what works, because this also has wireless CarPlay. So we'll see if I end up using Waze on my phone or this system here. And I think it all depends on how good their route planning is. So 852 miles to the west, it's going to be about a 1,200 mile drive. Yep, 1,076 miles or so. It's only 15 hours. It's really not bad. It wants us to go up and over. We actually can't do that because there's no chargers. So it's suggesting the wrong route there. I think that's the backup route that it's suggesting. Right, so we're going to take the initial one. It says there are tolls, no problem. Let's hit go, calculating 100%. And EV chargers are being added to the trip. Hey, this is pretty good.
Laws. Be alert and use voice commands while driving.
Yeah, don't like that. So it says 9 chargers, a total of 4 hours and 35 minutes. It's routing us through a charge point DC charger, 35 minutes to 60%. Okay. And then Electrify America's the whole way through. And then EV Go. Yeah, hey, this is the best route plan that I've seen this thing do so far. One of the times I tried it put me to a 7 kilowatt charger, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Honestly, probably we'll just use Electrify America the whole way. We can skip this charge point at only 190 miles. We'll probably stop in Lakewood or maybe up in the mountains a little bit on EA. And I've just tried to put on plug-in charge, so I definitely want to do that. And I'm also comfortable with the EA network at this point, so I would prefer to use them as our sole energy provider if possible. If not, we'll use all these other ones. Well, with everything set up, we're topped up to 100%. I think it's time we head out, we learn about the Mach-E, we figure out its charging, we see if this is a good road trip vehicle, and we are off to Los Angeles. Now, it's 1:34 p.m. right now. I imagine we'll get to like Utah, maybe to Vegas tonight, somewhere around there, around St. George is what I'm thinking. We'll find a hotel, and then we'll arrive in LA tomorrow. We're really not in a huge time rush here, time crunch. We're leaving ourselves plenty of buffer so that if we do have charging issues, we can handle them. But I say let's load up and head out. Beautiful views up here in the mountains. I figured I'd take some time to talk about Ford's Copilot 360, some of the driver assistance systems that I'm using here, as long as this Mini doesn't crash. I don't know what he's doing. Just move over. There's no one there. Anyway, gorgeous views. So Copilot 360 is Ford's driver assistance system. It is not unique to Mustang Mach-E. I've recently reviewed an F-150 for our reviews channel that had this system as well. And right now it sort of has limited functionality. You can see it's taking corners just fine. Really good system. Doesn't do lane changes. I don't think it ever will, but it, basically does the lane centering perfectly. Now, right now I have to tell it I'm paying attention. The driver monitoring system is by touching the steering wheel and putting a little torque into the steering rack. Now, in just a few months, this little sensor right here will be updated and it will do eye tracking similar to Super Cruise or BMW system at low speed, and it will actually drive itself without me putting my hands on the wheel. It will just basically stay on the road, and as long as my eyes are facing forwards, I won't have to touch the steering wheel, which I think is really nice. And honestly, this is the level of driver assistance that I like in a car. Do I need it to be full self-driving, ripping me around the city? No. Certainly it's cool to test out, but in terms of real practicality for a system, this is where I spend a lot of time, where people spend a lot of time commuting, driving, and just taking the burden off the driver for these long stretches is where these ADAS systems really help. So anyway, enjoying the Mustang Mach-E, very quiet in here, good ride, beautiful views, really doesn't get better, and surprisingly very efficient so far. Well, we just did the climb, so we're down to 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour, but we were over 3 miles per kilowatt hour up until the big pass up into the mountains here, and I'm surprised at how well that's doing. We're going to try and make it to the Glenwood Springs Electrify America station, but we may have to stop before that at Frisco, so we'll see. Welcome to beautiful Glenwood Springs, and surprisingly 3 separate people off the highway came over and in traffic pulled up next to me, said they watch us on YouTube. I mean, that's crazy. We see some of our audience from time to time, but literally in that short span from the highway to here, 3 separate people. Well, thank you guys for watching the channel. I appreciate that. Nice to meet some of you, although very quickly. And now we are ready to try plug and charge. This will be my first time. So I've pulled to 2 350 kilowatt stations. This actually can charge on a 150, pretty much maxed out. The 150's output a little bit more than 150. But here's the thing I want to talk about before we get to charging. Originally, the Mustang wanted to have us stop miles back, and I said, no, we're going to force it to Glenwood Springs. That's where we are now. And it originally said a 6% arrival. Then we climbed to the top of the, I think, Vale Pass, and then it showed a 2% arrival here. But we've arrived with 24%, something like this. And I was shredding. I mean, really, absolutely motoring with some pretty quick cars. No key detected. Phone key never works either. And so what this tells me is that the internal trip calculation is not factoring elevation. You see, the thing is, when I had selected this station, we were almost at the top of the hill, which means our efficiency over the last 20, 30, 40 miles was terrible. Let's say under 2 miles per kilowatt hour is a guess. However, we lost almost 8,000 feet of elevation or something, so I was able to regen and charge back up. Therefore, this was no problem to make it to. So couple wants here. I want the Mach-E to follow the elevation profile of the route. And I also want to know the elevation profile. So the Tesla will tell you, here's where it expects you to use your energy and to regain. And it really helps you at the beginning of the trip to basically say, should I drive faster or slower? Not any other EV, I think, doesn't do this. But I wish the Mach-E would have a graph that shows, here's where we expect you to use energy and here's where we expect you to gain. So anyway, let's try plug and charge for the first time. The reason I haven't plugged in, I know it's bothering all of our audience because we have the cannonball mentality, is I'm in no rush to get there. So let's charge this thing up. So I'm not going to touch anything on the screen. The car is completely off. All I'm going to do is pull the connector over right here to the front, kind of have to wrangle the connector in. Give me 1 second. This is a 2-hand operation. These things are hard to bend in. All right, we are connected in. Let's see if this works. I signed up for plug and charge on Ford's website last night. It took a second to process, and then it said it was activated. It's connecting to the vehicle, and Ford is giving us 250 kilowatt hours of free energy, which is pretty nice. Thank you for that. And it appears that it didn't work. Okay, maybe I should try it with the car on. I've heard a couple people say the Mustang needs to be on. Let's try that. Okay, we have the Mustang on. We are at 22% state of charge. Let's grab the connections now and try it again. Connected up this time, plugged in, the vehicle is on, and it still says pay by credit card. Well, that just sucks, I think. Let me see if I should check the Ford app one more time and see if I can maybe try something. Otherwise, I'll just use my own app. So not only do you have to activate plug and charge online, you have to go into the app and turn it on. These are the things we're learning here. Normally, we're experts at this. This is the first plug and charge capable vehicle I've tested. Every Taycan that I've driven has been 2020 because all the press cars were never 2021s, so they don't support it. So it's basically Taycan and Mach-E are the only two cars that support plug and charge, other than Tesla, of course. So now that I've turned it all on, we got the app notifications that say we're good to go on Electrify America and Green Lots. I actually didn't know that. Let's try it now. And in we go. Will the plug and charge work? We are connecting to vehicle. Now let's see what happens. If this works, I will be extremely happy, and definitely spent quite a bit of time fussing around here, but think about all the time we can save if this works. So I heard contactors click just for a second. Is this gonna work? So I heard plug and charge will delay the handshake slightly, which I guess makes sense because you have more data that has to transfer through. I do have climate control off in the vehicle right now. So we are running on, off 22% state of charge, driver door ajar. I can't believe we're still using that. Just say it's open. Why is the door ajar? Man, this handshake's taking a while. We're gonna do this in real time, folks, because you need to experience what this is like. It says processing payment right now, which means it's connected. Whoa, it worked. I heard the cabinets click over here. Everything's working. Plug and charge. Man, that handshake was brutal though, wasn't it? That was like a 45-second to almost 60-second handshake. Initiating charging. Let's see what it says. Is it even gonna come up as Kyle? What's it gonna say? Hello Ford, welcome driver, Mustang Mach-E, 250 kilowatt hour, Ford Pass, charging or per minute equivalent included. I see. And nice, so we're definitely charging with plug and charge on the complimentary sessions. I don't really mind the cost. I just think, hey, it freaking works, folks. Awesome, and we are charging at, oh, not so good, 30 kilowatts. Ah, come on. One victory and one failure. Let's see if it ramps up at all. It doesn't seem to be ramping up at all. Ah, come on. All right, well, I guess what I'll do is give this a second to figure itself out. If it doesn't increase off of 30 kilowatts, I will try another station. If the other station is slow, then maybe I thermal throttled the battery pack by driving it too hard up and down the hills. So we'll give this a second to figure itself out. All right, folks, I am going to plug this one into the car as long as it reaches. It looks like it will. So let me, again, two-handed operation. Let's plug this one in. We now have it plugged into the other 350 kilowatt. I am imagining plug and charge will work. Handshakes are usually pretty good with the Mustang. It's given a couple issues. I'm not sure why that was limited to 30 kilowatts. I hope this goes higher because I actually don't think we've thermal throttled the drivetrain because I don't hear the AC chiller kicking on the Mach-E. So let's give this another 60 seconds and I'll update with the charging speed. All right, we're all connected and good here for the plug and charge with the Ford Pass charging, which is really nice of them to do that. But again, that's $77 equivalent. I just think it would have been easier for them not to include free charging. And oh no, 30 kilowatts again, which means it's something on the Mustang side. Holy crap, there's no way we're gonna make it to California at 30 kilowatts, guys. All right, I think I need to try a 150 kilowatt station because these are the 350s. I've heard a couple little bugs with ABB 350s, although I just charged someone the other day, it was perfect. Yeah, we'll try this 150 right here. I'll park here, and if that doesn't work, we're hosed. Let's try this out. We are authorized. It took a full 60 seconds this time for it to connect. Nice Taycan just rolled up as well. Let's try out this 150 kilowatt charger and see if this works any more quickly. And friends, this is all she wants to take, 31 kilowatts. My guess is we overheated it, but what's crazy is I don't hear the battery chiller kicking on at all. Perhaps I need to click on climate control, although I don't think that's true, because when I did my charging test the other day, the chiller was kicking on even though I had climate control off. Really nice woman who owns this Taycan here. She's driving it from Seattle to Wisconsin. It's her first EV road trip. She said she's had almost no problems, but you can tell she's not a pro. Plugging in at 56% state of charge, that's no way to road trip a Taycan. You got to plug in at 0. So now let's see what this thing does. It says full accessory power active, fast charging to 80%. In an hour and forever. Oh my God. Okay, folks, I've actually unplugged, replugged back in here with my own personal app to swipe, and we're shot up to 160 kilowatts. So here's what I think. I think the handshake process taking 1 minute takes so long it freaks something out and limits the charging current to so low. I mean, less than 100 amps. And that is maybe an issue with Ford's plug-in charge right now. But either way, I've swiped on my app and we're up to 156 kilowatts, no problem. I guess we did not overheat the Mach-E, we just confused it with the handshake process. Well, this is so much better. We had just tapered off of 150 kilowatts or so down to 110. I looked, we should have about 500 seconds at 110 kilowatts till it drops down. 32% state of charge starting. I don't know what the next station is, but we will take a look. Well, now that we're charging at actual good speeds, man, that was frustrating and annoying. I still don't know the root cause, but I think the extended handshake has something to do with it. I called our friend EV Dave. This is actually EV Dave's Mach-E. He purchased it for us to use for videos and for his channel. So thank EV Dave for letting us use the Mustang. And I called him. He said, oh, Ford's slowing you down because they're giving it away for free. I just don't think they're doing this intentionally. I think they want the best customer experience, but maybe I give them too much credit. Who knows? I don't think they would do that. So let's go to Los Angeles. Let's see if it recognizes that we are plugged into a charger or not, and will give us correct guidance from there. So actually, we can go to recent destinations, and we can go to Los Angeles, California, and driving options. That one. And let's see what it says. Calculating happens quick. EV chargers are being added quite quickly.
Obey traffic laws. Be alert and use voice commands while driving.
So it says 88 miles to Sam's Club to 49%, then to Green River Coffee, Walmart, Days Inn. I mean, this is really a good route plan. I can't argue with it. 88 miles though, I think we should just head out here and go because we're already tapered down to, what does that say? 44 kilowatts? What? Oh my goodness, let's take a look. There's no kilowatt meter in the Mustang, so you have to rely on the screen over here, which is super annoying. 44 kilowatts, why would it taper? I don't understand. It should be doing at least 70, now 35 kilowatts? Oh, come on, we're having some weird issues today. Maybe this wasn't as much of a charging bug as I thought. Connectors in there, everything's cool. Well, I think we have enough juice to get to Green River Coffee. It's all downhill from here. So, I'm sorry, to the next charger. The problem is that one's really far off the highway, but the charger after that is pretty far down the road. So I don't want to do too much of a deep charge here. I'd rather just get out and head to, I can't even remember the name of the town, the one at Sam's Club. Anyway, it's 88 miles down the road. Let's leave now because 44 kilowatts isn't great. Off we go. Quick GoPro clip here. You can see I've made these charts from our Taycan Cannonball Drive. This was our trip plan and we followed the exact same route. So this is how I'm gathering all of my elevation data into Glenwood Springs. You can see we lose 3,200 feet, so I can just rip it as hard as I want to get there. Does Colorado get any more beautiful than this? We are so lucky to live in this state. Look at the mountains all around, absolutely gorgeous. A great view in the rearview mirror as well. And man, are those just gorgeous peaks off in the distance. Love it. Love this state. We have arrived into Glenwood Springs with 29 miles of projected range, 12%. It says now, do you want a recharge required at EV stations? Well, the thing is, it should know we're at a station, and then it should tell us, please plug in and charge here for this long. You would think just the simple things would be smart. Really good looking Subaru WRX, although I'm not digging the wing on a non-STI. The door handles on Mach-E, by the way, work like this. You push this button, and then there's a little plunger that extends here at the bottom that pushes the door out. So you just push, and then you pull right here on this little handle. Pretty interesting. Let's open up the charging port and try plug-in charge this time around. I did drive easier on this drive just to try and keep the battery temperatures low, cool it off. If that played a factor, I'm not sure. So let's grab the connector, bring it around, and get it plugged in. Give me a second to put this in. There we go. We are hooked up. Let's see if it takes 60 seconds with plug-in charge this time. I'm not sure if that first experience was representative of the technology. Let's see. We are 6 seconds in, 8 seconds into this process now. Let's give it some go time. In the meantime, I have turned off the Mustang Mach-E. And yeah, nice charger here. I'm starving. There's a Golden Corral. I don't know if I'm that hungry though, but I'm also not seeing anything else. There's a Del Taco all the way over there. That's not much better. Not really much else around here. So I think it might be Golden Corral for me. We'll see. Still communicating 40 seconds into this process. It says processing payment. And once it processes the payment, then it will start charging, I guess. It should just start charging, and then if it can't process payment, just shut off. Would be the way I would do it for customer experience, because I'm sure 90% of the time, payment's gonna go through. Initiating charging. Okay, contactors are going. Mustang's happy. I shut it off, but the headlights are still on. That's pretty weird. Oh, I have the headlights set manually on. That's right. Here we go, 250 kilowatt hour Ford fast charging. Everything seems to work great there. Fingers crossed we see more than 30 kilowatts. Come on. 72. Still not good, but oh, 129. Hey, the Ford Pass free charging thing. I guess it doesn't have to do with that handshake. Who knows why we had those issues back there then. Maybe it's just something got mixed up, but hey, 155 kilowatts, I'll take it. We'll charge up to, I don't know, maybe 50, 60, 70%. We'll see how long the next one is. Car's looking really good. Getting a little bit dirty, but man, I love this grabber blue color in the Mustang. It just pops. You know, if I was to buy one for myself, maybe I would get like a gray or a black or something that blends in. But for camera, for thumbnails, for video, yeah, grabber blue all day long. I was just on my way to figure out dinner plans, and we have a charging session error. It said power port fan failure, and I'm guessing that means that the fan to cool the cable failed. I'm not totally sure. Let's try it one more time, but this time I think I'll plug in on this station. Gosh, this is just, I mean, the Tesla experience is just so much better than this. There's just no way around it. This is painful, but honestly, it's not going to get better unless we highlight the problems and hope for the best and push the technology. That is why I'm committed to road tripping non-Teslas still, just to push this stuff. So we are now trying to charge on this one. This charger just came up as unavailable. I don't know if you can actually see that on your screen. Here, let's get it dialed in. There you go. You can see the 2 red dots. So maybe I just chose the wrong charger. Didn't say that when I showed up. Now we are in the middle of the 60-second handshake. I mean, it feels like you can just, you know, run a mile, go run a marathon while it's handshaking. I've spoken to the director of technology at Electrify America, who's a friend, about this handshake process, and he was like, there's nothing we can do to speed up the handshake process because we must follow the protocol, which he created, by the way. And the problem is, just change the protocol. Come on, this is crazy. You know, there's no way that we will have 60-second handshake times into the future. You plug in a supercharger V3 into a Tesla, boom, 5 seconds later, that thing is doing 250 kilowatts right through the port. Maybe it's not as safe, but I haven't died yet, so how unsafe can it really be? Anyway, let's check this thing out right here. Here we are, charging up, working great. Plug and charge worked, and we are charging at 155 kilowatts. Awesome, love it, 156 kilowatts. Really good charging session. Now I think I'm gonna run over and find some food. At least the Ford Pass app lets me know when charging fails, which is really great. All right, folks, I stooped down. I had dinner at the Golden Corral. Man, was that terrible. Just the people in there were like screaming, and they're like, people are like breathing all over the food. I don't know, it was really nasty. So I can't say I recommend Golden Corral to go on a Valentine's Day date or something. Anyway, bad news, the Ford Pass app has been yelling at me for the last 20 minutes to move the car because of idle fees, because it failed again. But I was not going to cut my Golden Corral dinner short, so I'll pay whatever the idle fees are, although I still think they should reimburse me. I'll have to call them about that. Not a big deal. The station failed, and then they're going to bill me for having dinner. Anyway, the station's just behind me over here. The Mach-E is sitting there not charging. I can't imagine it charged very much because it happened as soon as I sat down. Man, what a trip so far, folks. What a trip. Let's hope it improves. I'm going to move over to a 150 kilowatt unit because we haven't tried one of those yet. Maybe that's the magic trick, is just to use the 150s. Fingers crossed. Let's try it. And here's the error, a vehicle protocol error. This one I've seen 3 times now for this Mustang on different chargers at different locations, and not just with Electrify America. So off here, and let's try that one there, I guess. Well, we could have been charged up enough to leave, but no, we are at 33%, and we have just started our 60-second long handshake in hopes that we can get some charge in here, and then we'll be off to Utah. I'd like to try and get to St. George tonight. I know that's a big ask, but we'll see. We'll just go until I get tired, I guess, and we'll find the closest hotel with the destination charger will be the goal, just like with every road trip. Gotta say, this is a good car. Drives amazing. I really think the only problem with this car is the charging. The efficiency's even been very good so far. It is just this annoyance of dealing with the networks. And honestly, I think it's not on the EA side for the most part. Maybe that failed station was, but you know, it's certainly a fault of both. But I really think a lot of these are on the early software of Mustang that's causing some of these little bugs and hesitations. But nothing like standing in the middle of a Sam's Club parking lot at night in Colorado to figure out your charging issues on a Mach-E, am I right? And yep, 125 kilowatt charging right here. Let's see if it refreshes and goes up at all. Doesn't look like it's going to. Guess it's just, I can live with 125 kilowatt. That's fine, I'll take it. Well, hey, I just put in the LA thing. I'm just gonna close this really quick because I wanted to show you this. This is good, and now it's gone. Where'd it go? Anyway, it said we've arrived and here's how long we need to charge in order to go. The problem is it doesn't say anywhere how long it wants me to stay. It just says charging to 80%. What it should say is how many kilowatts you're doing, first of all, your time to 80%, your time to full, and how much longer you need in order to make it to your next destination, factoring in weather, driving style, traffic, elevation, wind. Man, no one can get this right. Uh-oh, folks, charging station fault, C manual. Okay, let's see what the charging station error is. I feel like this is happening every 5 minutes or so. It says, stop reason vehicle protocol error again. Well, I guess we'll just unplug and replug in. I think that's really the only thing we can do here. So, man, this is garbage experience, real garbage experience. And I hate to be that guy because I'm like the one pushing non-Tesla EVs harder than anyone, saying we can make the future easy, we can make charging work, no problem. And here I am constantly dealing with this nonsense whenever I take my Model 3 anywhere. It's super easy. And again, I hate it when people say stuff like this because I'm like, no, we broke the record in a Taycan, New York to LA. It's doable. It's great. But this is unfortunately the reality, and there's no way I'm going to sugarcoat it. You know, I'm going to show you exactly what happens as it goes. And there we go, back up to 127 kilowatts. Let this puppy charge up for now, and I'll let you know if we have any more problems. Otherwise, we'll charge up just enough to get to the next station. All right, we are charged up to 57% state of charge. I think we should just head out. We're going to go to the Green River Coffee. It's 100 miles away. The car expects a 30-minute charge. Let's remember that, and let's see how long it takes for us to actually charge there. Should be an hour, 25 minutes of driving. Actually, let's take a look. I can look at details. I can see it's a 150 kilowatt station, although I think that's a 350. It's in the Ford network, although maybe the Mustang doesn't care because it's rated at up to 150. Has a 10 out of 10 rating, not sure from what service, and pay required, yes. All sounds good. What happens if I hit replace? Then I get to choose what other stations I want to do around there. We could just wait and charge up a little bit more and make it to this one, whatever that is. Let's see what this charger is. It won't let you click on it, of course. This is frustrating. All right, I'm going to see if it makes sense to wait and charge and stretch it to here, or to do a quick top up there and then go to this one. So I agree with what the car says to go to Green River. That makes sense. And then this isn't an EA station. The next one's Salina, which is 238 miles from here. We're not going to charge up that far. So let's head out of here. Honestly, I can't even see what kind of charging speeds we're getting. I have no clue because it doesn't show in the car. So let's go over here. 102 kilowatts isn't bad. Not bad. Do we keep it here at 100 kilowatts and then just go to Green River? That's a tough one because it doesn't really stay above 100 that long. I say as soon as we dip under 100 kilowatts, let's unplug and go. That'll be the plan. With the current charging profile of Mustang Mach-E, it doesn't necessarily make sense to drain all the way down to zero, pulling as low as possible so you can rip max current until it tapers, like most EVs, like Taycan, like Model 3 that you're used to seeing on this channel. The Mustang Mach-E gives you more power for longer if you arrive with a higher state of charge. And this is their arbitrary charging profile, limited based off of predictive temperature, but not actual sensor data. They're just slowing you down because they think it might get warm. The thing is, you can just unplug and replug back in and get max speeds. We'll do that test another day, but keep an eye on our reviews channel for all the charging test stuff. Let's take a look. Are we dipped under 100 kilowatts yet? Man, it's so annoying to find charging. Nope, just sitting at 102. We'll stay here. And then, you know, if we pull into Green River with 30-40%, great. We'll just get higher speeds longer. That is the fastest move right now. We have just charged up to 67% state of charge. The charging session failed again, and we had just dipped under 100 kilowatts, so I was going to leave anyway. So this is our forced departure by EA. Yep, we'll get out of here. Don't worry. I guess we'll just keep trying to see if this issue goes away at all on the trip. Let's put this charger away here. Boom. And now, let's see. Yeah, we gained 22 kilowatt hours in 12 minutes, which isn't bad. Look, the charging curve is great if you start deeper in the pack. It just sucks if you start down here, it comes down low, so you have to unplug and replug. Just proves my theory that the fastest way to road trip a Mustang is by plugging in and unplugging, which sadly already you have to do because of all the station failures. How ironic. Let's go. Welcome to Green River Coffee Shop. This is kind of a weird exit because there's a road that runs parallel to the highway right here. The highway loops down and comes back. This goes straight through. So while it is pretty far off the highway, you keep moving in the same direction. So it doesn't really bug me too much. The superchargers are just on the other side of the bridge over there, which we've stopped at. We've also been to this EA station a couple times now, and I've plugged in and it's flashing red. And it says charging station fault on my phone. You can't see that, but this still says it's connecting to vehicle. So let's unplug. Gosh, why are there so many problems with this? All right, let's unplug. Let's take this connector. It all says it's available. So let's try this here. Plugging in, boom. Let's see if this works now. I don't understand why it would make a difference based off of which handle you use. You would think it would all be the same, and the car's flashing red. Is it because it's locked? I didn't mean to lock it. Maybe I'll just keep the door open. And it says connecting to vehicle, and the vehicle says fault again. You have got to be kidding me. Come on. Driver door ajar. Full accessory power. To start, press brake. It doesn't say any. Oh, charge station fault right here. Okay, let's try this station then. I have now plugged in on this station right here. It's a 150 kilowatt. It's also the CHAdeMO unit, so hopefully no leafs show up. Although we really are in the middle of Utah out here. I don't think too many leafs are road tripping across the country. I can't imagine any live in this town. That'd be kind of cool though. Now it says connecting to vehicle, and now the car seems happy. So we'll let it do its handshake. What am I trying to say? Let this thing charge up. Hopefully this works now. Always a good idea when you have a Mustang, apparently, to park in a spot where you can plug in from multiple chargers so you don't necessarily have to move the car. It looks like it's all good. Everything's been authorized. We're initiating charging here. Hey, this is pretty good, folks. 150 kilowatt unit. Maybe I'll just try those instead of the 350s for now on, but we had issues at the last 150, so shouldn't make a difference really. And we're going to continue. Still using the Ford free charging service, which is really awesome. And there we go. 73 kilowatts, 102 kilowatts. Well, we'll take whatever we can get at this point. Looks like we have a peak here of 124 kilowatts. That's all she wants to take. Really not great charging speeds, honestly. You know, Ford claims 150 kilowatts, but look, I don't know how they can claim that if it only pulls it for such a short period of time under certain conditions. I really think automakers need to share the charging curves as part of the data with EVs, you know, rather than having us go through all the trouble and testing it. Certainly happy to do so. Keeps us in business, honestly. I was just talking to my dad about this on the phone, where the only reason we're doing what we're doing is because everyone else is getting stuff wrong. So I guess selfishly, this is good for us, but we really hope, I mean, personally, I want this stuff to work. And this is frustrating to me, not only because I'm trying to get to LA, which that's not my main concern. It's just because I keep thinking about, what if my mom bought a Mustang? What if someone that doesn't really know cars that well bought one of these things and this is their experience? This sucks. So I really like that. I don't even remember how I got here, but I got here somewhere in the menus, and it says it wants me to charge to 57%. So that won't take us too long. Then it says go to the Walmart Supercenter to the next charger. Well, great. I don't know what town that's in, nor can I see. I know it's in Electrify America, but I can't zoom in here to see where that next charger is. So maybe I have to do it the manual way like this to see where it's thinking about taking me. Electrify America, Walmart, 30-minute charge. So that's the next spot then. And so this is the one in... Let's see what town it is. Is that an airstrip? How am I supposed to see what town this is in? Gosh, simple things, folks, simple things. I have no idea. Richfield, Utah. Okay, so that's going to be our next stop. Off to Richfield. Let's see if I can do a calculation to see how much longer we need to get to Richfield. I've manually entered in our next stop, which will be Salina, Utah. I like this stop because it's literally right off the highway, super easy to get to. And if I remember correctly, the new Signet units, which I want to try with the Mustang. Could be wrong about that, but I think it is the new Signet units. Anyway, we'll find out. We are at 48% state of charge. I have no way of knowing how fast we're charging without getting out Man, someone's burning something around here. It smells like a wood fire, real nice. And we're still doing 100 kilowatts, which is pretty good. So all the way from 20 to 48%. We just dipped under 100 kilowatts. So 15 minutes, we've gained 26 kilowatt hours. 14 minutes, 26 kilowatt hours. You know what? That's not terrible. It's not certainly anything excitingly good, but I gotta say, that's not a terrible session. Oh, what the hell? As I'm talking, it literally just faulted out. You've got to be shitting me. Vehicle protocol error, as usual. Now look, this says it's the vehicle error. Look at what the Mustang says. The Mustang says, this is great, I love this. The Mustang says charge station fault. So the Charger says, hey, the car's the problem. The car says, hey, Charger's the problem. Both companies trying to protect themselves is my guess. This is like the 10th time that this has happened in the last 5 hours to me. I've restarted the charging session and we're all the way back up to 130 kilowatts. Honestly, no reason to leave now. I guess this is what I should do, is when it starts to taper under, let's say 105 kilowatts, unplug, replug back in. Because yeah, we might even be able to stretch it past Salina and head to Richfield or even farther if we can get a good charging curve. So we'll try that out. All right, now we've tapered down to 86 kilowatts, only 4 minutes since we've been charging, but I think it's time to go because now we've probably hit the internal charging profile where it actually can accept more than, 100 kilowatts into the car. So let's put this back. And the good news is we'll just arrive at Salina or Richfield. We'll figure it out on the way, depending on our efficiency, with a higher state of charge than we would have, which means it will probably charge a little bit faster. So let's power up, throw this puppy in reverse, boop, and off we go. Also, here's a little funny thing. With the backup camera on, you can't adjust your heated seat. See, I'm gonna hit the heated seat and it won't work. But if I take it out of reverse and I hit the heated seats, now I can. That's been bugging me. Same with fan speed and all the other stuff. So many weird bugs. Oh, and I left the charge port ajar. I love that that is also ajar. I'm used to my power charge port on Taycan and Tesla. I forgot about this, having to do this manually. That's such an amateur move, though. I'm not a fan of power charge port doors, actually. I prefer the manual ones, just less to go wrong. Because as you can tell, there's quite a bit that does go wrong. Off we go. Proper out-of-spec road tripping here, climbing up big elevation. The one thing I know, because the Mustang doesn't take into account elevation on the trip. When I plotted those Taycan graphs for our Cannonball, I know that we gain an overall of 1,234 feet from station to station, but we go up like 7,000 feet and then come down a ton. So right now I'm expecting it to start freaking out. But the good news is pretty much after this hill, it's all downhill into town. I did drop the speeds to 65 just for a bit in case I miscalculated, but there's the downhill sign. So I think we'll be good to start raising up the speeds here, folks. Well, a little midway trip update here. Not too much to see. Honestly, haven't seen another passenger vehicle almost at all on this stretch. All just trucks, and very few of them. Very desolate road here on I-70 heading over towards, I guess, the 15. So pretty interesting. The Mustang Mach-E, of course, doesn't do GPS calculations. So every time I reach the crest of a hill, it says, I'm out of range of chargers. Good luck. You're not going to make it anywhere. And then at the bottom of the hill, I get, at least 6 miles of buffer. I think we're going to pull in at low state of charge, but we'll be totally fine. The last 15, 20 miles or so are straight downhill. So as long as I can crest that last ridge, we will cruise into town. I certainly am glad that we did that little extra top up at Green River. I should have checked the elevation maps before we left on this stretch. I always forget how hilly this stretch is, but have to say the Mustang didn't do anything to help me out here. It just said we were ready to go. And then, of course, it's been yelling at me left and right about not making it to the charger. Pretty interesting. Welcome to Salina, Utah. This will be our first time charging on a Signet CCS fast charger. We'll grab this connector. This will be the easiest to get into the car. I say that even though I have to put the phone down. It's kind of getting chilly. The cables are getting a little colder. We're down to 40 degrees. The car's at 8% state of charge. See, the Mustang shouldn't have been freaking out because it should have known we had that big downhill into town. Pretty crazy, actually. I just went to go search for some hotels in the area. Hotels in the area that have a J1772 charging port, and there are none at all. Like, no hotels with charging. Honestly, no hotels really at all. So that's interesting. We may just have to keep on the road. I'm getting pretty tired. Kind of wanted to stop here, honestly. But I'll do some research and see if I can find a spot. Looks like this connected just fine. Handshake didn't take nearly as long as it has been, at least. And we are charging. Let's take a look at the speeds. Man, it's windy out here. Man, that's not great speeds, is it? Come on, let's go. Ramp up. What on earth is this thing doing? There we go. Well, it definitely interacts with the Signet units totally differently than the ABB units, I'll tell you that much. And now it's ramping, ramping, ramping. Nice. This is how it should be. Whoa, 152. Very good. Nice. Charging up. So you can see here we have tapered down to 98 kilowatts at 40%. Let's unplug and replug back in and see if we can go any quicker here. So I'm stopping the charging session by hitting unlock. There we go. Unplugged. We're gonna hit finish. Finish. Come on. And now we're gonna plug back in. So as we're letting this ramp and connect back up, basically I'm testing to see if it'll go back up to 150 kilowatts or if it'll just sit at 100. My guess is we'll get max speeds again. The closest hotel with a charger is 2 hours away. I forgot to bring my Tesla to J1772 adapter, but that hotel's still an hour away and I'm pretty tired. So what I'm gonna do here is charge up for as long as I can stand it tonight while the battery is warm and things are good. Then we're gonna wake up in the morning. I'm gonna try and find a wall outlet, plug it into a hotel here. There's like a Quality Inn, a Comfort Inn, a Super 8. For some reason, the Super 8 has like by far the highest rating, so I guess we'll just stay there. They're all like $65. I mean, no good options here. Here we are ramping up 95 kilowatt, 102, 106, 113, 120, 130, 140, 155, 165, 165 peak. What a difference that makes. Now the question is, are we gonna stay at this speed for long enough to justify all the time that we just spent hooking up? The answer is maybe. I'm not so sure. We'll have to do a test at some point, but not tonight. So right now we're doing 160 kilowatts into the car, which is great. I wish they would improve the charging curve because the battery can take it. Just let it have it. And we're going to charge up to at least 50 to 70% here. Then we're going to go to the hotel, sleep, try and find a wall outlet, wake up and rip it, warm everything up on the way to the charger because it's probably going to get kind of cold tonight. It's already down into the 40s. So, man, I'm getting tired. Pretty good road trip. I'm glad we're going to spend the night here in Salina, Utah. Plenty of hotel rooms available. So let's go find a spot. Just heading out of the hotel here. Nothing fancy, but really wasn't terrible. It was pretty clean. Behind me, you can see the Mustang plugged in. So last night I charged up to 50%, 52% on the Electrify America station. The Ford app shows you the real-time status of the battery pack, but you have to like refresh it. It doesn't show how fast it's charging. So let's see actually how much we topped up to. We're just down the street from that charger. There was like only crap hotels. I really wanted to try and find one with the destination charger, but I was pretty tired. But this hotel here is Super 8, which I can't necessarily recommend staying at. In the middle of Salina, Utah, was kind enough to let me plug into their 110 outlet right up front here. And because the walls were so thin, I could actually hear people walking up past our room saying, oh, that's the electric Mustang. So let's unplug and see our status for the day. Wow, we actually gained quite a bit of juice. So we're up to 67% state of charge, which is awesome. So I'm going to grab a little bit of a to-go breakfast here, jump in, and we're going to be off to the next station. Well, thanks so much to these guys for letting me charge up overnight. Gorgeous views here in Utah. And here is the trip plan that the car wants us to go on. It wants us to go 77 miles to Days Inn, and then another 100, 131, 137. It all seems pretty good. We'll see if we can stretch it past this Days Inn here. I believe that's the Richfield one. Could be wrong. We'll see. Let's just get on the road, and when we start getting low, we'll look for the next available charger. and I'll just keep an eye on to make sure I don't go past one where there's a big gap. Plenty of EA stations along this route, so let's rock and roll. I have to say, guys, yesterday was a little frustrating road tripping the Mustang Mach-E. First, we had those plug-in charge issues. Then we had those issues where it would randomly stop. But I have to say, last night at the Signet Chargers, the last charging stop, went flawlessly. I unplugged us as soon as we were ready to go. So far it's been a really interesting, all over the place experience and totally inconsistent, which to me is the most annoying thing. If we had one problem and we had it over and over and over and we could replicate it, then we have a pinpointed issue that we can then go to Ford and Electrify America and say, hey guys, here's what we found, which I would absolutely do. You know, we're very lucky in my job reviewing cars. I get to know all the people who make the cars, and ideally I want to showcase how good they are, because I love cars and I love electric cars and I love pushing technology. But if it's not good, I can't showcase how good it is. Obviously, I'm going to show you the real deal. And so the problem for me right now is just the inconsistency of the software on the car. The chargers, I think only that fan issue was the only one. That one where we had in Grand Junction was the only EA issue. Maybe I'm wrong. But off we go, merging up on the highway here onto I-70. Gorgeous views. You guys got to see this. Check this out. You have to forgive the dirty windshield. It is a typical out-of-spec trip, but look at how beautiful this Utah landscape is. As Stradman would say, views on views in Utah. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to engage GoPilot 360 right here. We should be locked on. There we go. Speed limit's 80. Why am I going so slow? Gotta go 85. Let's just go 90 in the Mustang. We can burn some juice and heat things up before the Chargers. Let's rock and roll. Welcome to Beaver, Utah. Real windy out today. Crazy windy, actually. I mean, it was blowing us all over the road. I drove relatively quickly to heat up the battery pack because, again, it sat overnight just on the level 1. We are plugged in to the ABB units, the ones we've had the issues on, although someone had commented on my Twitter just now and said they had problems on Signet units, the same ones we've been experiencing. So, yeah, not totally sure what's going on here. Let's get this thing going and see if it works. All right, plugged in, connected, charging on the first go. These screens are hard to see, 72 kilowatts. Let's see, will we get a little bit more? Sometimes it takes till the next frame refresh. Yep, there we go. 145 kilowatts, plugging in at 20% state of charge, which Ford claims is the ideal state of charge to plug in for the Mustang. So let's charge this thing up until it tapers. 161 kilowatts, hell yeah. I just ran over to the store to get a phone mount for a little live stream I was planning on doing from the road. So let's take a look at the charger here. Touch to return. Okay, I've touched. Come on. There we go. Still 107 kilowatts, folks. This isn't bad. Plugging in at 20% might be the ideal. I mean, look, 100 kilowatts on a 100 kilowatt hour pack is pretty bad at this state of charge. But considering all the other things we've gone through, this isn't terrible. Please forgive the wind noise. I am setting up to start with live streaming with my phone, so I'm using another camera here. We are charged up to 57% state of charge. We are at 79 kilowatts. I think it's time to leave. So let's hit this. I'm gonna start the live stream pulling out of here, and then we will be ready to go. So for the next, let's just say couple charging stops, maybe the quality may not be as good. Just bear with me. Let me know when you see the full video go live, if you remember this clip from the live stream in the main video, because right now we're recording one of those 5-second segment pieces of the road going by. Welcome to beautiful Washington, Utah, where we're charging up the Mustang Mach-E. Initially, we plugged in, we charged perfectly, really good session initially. We're doing a little live stream audience over here in the car. We then unplugged, plugged back in to test some charging curve stuff. It ramped back up to max speed, and then we started to have some charging faults, moved around, but we have a pretty solid session right now. We plugged in at 20% state of charge. We're up to 66%, and we'll be heading out here momentarily. So for the last couple hours, I've been doing a YouTube live stream. We just finished up. Really fun, great group of people watching. I'll put a link down below in the description to this video, or Alyssa will, she's editing it. And yeah, really fun. And so that's why the YouTube wasn't, you know, super exciting the last few stops, but now we're back to our normal schedule. We are ripping through the desert right now. Take a look at how beautiful this is. Some shots here out in the desert. Look at how beautiful this is. The wind is so gnarly. Back into the car. Welcome to the Las Vegas Premium Outlets. We have an i3 here. We have a Taycan here. We're going to get the Mustang plugged in. It's just super windy out there, so I wanted to do the audio inside the car. Let's get it charging. So I pulled up to this station with a dead screen, completely offline, wouldn't work. We moved over to this one, and it's now doing plug and charge just fine. Everything's working great. Going to do its handshake, process payment through the CCS connection, and then we should start to charge. We are at 5% state of charge, plenty of juice, 10 miles of rated, or I should say predicted range. Super windy out here, folks. We have processed payment. Charging is initiating. Everything is working great. Really great blacked out Taycan over here. Love the look of a Taycan totally blacked out. That looks awesome. And so here's the problem. We have the Taycan over here. I'm blocking the spot that doesn't work. I guess I could move, but it doesn't really make a difference. And there's plenty of open spots. But yeah, see, I don't know how fast we're charging. And the sun is so bright, I can't actually see on the screen how fast we're charging. So what I think I'm going to do is just run into the outlets behind me and grab some lunch. The only question is, what do we get? Oh man, so many good options. Kind of thinking pizza. Just walking out of the outlets, got some pizza and got a notification, charge station fault from the Ford Pass app. Damn, I tell you, this is like, you can't leave the car. You can't go anywhere. Guys, check out what just rolled up. It's I believe the new Hyundai Ioniq 5. This should have a great charging curve, 800 volt system architecture. Looks really good. Take a look at those wheels. Super, super neat. Can't wait to see how it charges. I'm gonna try and sneak a view at some of the stats, which will be neat. Ah, the i3 just freaked out because of the wind. So here we are plugging in the Hyundai Ioniq 5 on the CCS 350 kilowatt station. Let's see what kind of charging rates it gets. And there it goes. Unfortunately, they couldn't charge it here because the credit card reader wouldn't work, and they like to log the charging sessions with the credit card readers. Of course, I offered to start the session for them so I could log the charging on my side, but unfortunately, that was a no-go. And the Mustang, just in case you're curious, has faulted exactly 4 times here at this station. And the Ioniq looks great in size comparison. Really good roof line, about the same, carries all the way over to the back. Love the wheels on this thing, really good proportions. And yeah, they're testing it for Roush right now, doing some engineering stuff, and pretty cool. Got some Michigan tags on it. Look at those taillights too. Thing looks pretty good. Off it goes. Folks, I can't make this stuff up. We just faulted again. I'm gonna plug back in. I wanna charge up to 80% here, stretch it to Barstow. Let's skip Baker if we can. And man, this is just super, super, super duper annoying. We only gained 11% before it faulted. Well, with all of the excitement of the Ioniq 5 showing up and all the charging bugs, I haven't had a chance to eat my pizza. We're at 69% state of charge. We are doing, I can't even see how fast we're doing. It's double digits, so not 100 kilowatts. I can see 2 digits. I can't see what the digits are. I need binoculars. If you own a Mustang Mach-E, you must buy binoculars so you can see your charging speed. It's the only answer. I'm gonna eat the pizza. We're gonna charge up to 80%. We're going to Barstow. It's a 140-mile drive. We are at 70% rated, or a predicted range is 158 miles right now, except that I believe there's an uphill climb, so charging to 80% and heading out. If we're not gonna make it, we can stop in Baker, but I'll figure it out from there. So let's rock and roll. Well, after all that excitement, I just finished eating. We're at 81%. We've been there forever. Of course, we're down to 12 kilowatts. I don't need a charger to tell me that. I just know the charging curve drops like a brick when you hit 12 kilowatts. Actually, 14 kilowatts. Pretty good, probably because we're running the AC compressor. Let's stop charging and let's head out to Barstow. And we have Baker halfway if needed. Man, it's crazy windy out here. We may need to stop in Baker if the efficiency is that bad. We are rolling into Baker, California. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find the Electrify America app station in Baker, and it's because for whatever reason the app shows that it's not even there. The car doesn't know it's there. It's there. I've charged there. We charged there on the Cannonball. PlugShare shows someone just used it. So that's where we're gonna go. I think the uphill out of Baker into Barstow with this much headwind, we need just a little top up, maybe 10%, just for buffer. Plus, you know, if I really wanted to stretch it to Barstow, maybe I could. I'd drop the speed to 70, 75, but hey, I'm in no rush. I have to be doing this thing tomorrow morning with the Taycan, so it's 3 in the afternoon. I figured let's just stop in. Another opportunity to see how the charging works. Maybe we get a good one. If for whatever reason this Electrify America station doesn't work, there's a EV Go station just down the street at the world's tallest thermometer, which I've kind of always wanted to go to that station. Let's try the EA station. Let's go over and look at that EV Go install, just because I think that's neat. It's also one of the first EV Go 350 kilowatt stations. So let's go explore around Baker for a couple minutes. So here is the Electrify America station. It's right next to the Tesla Supercharger. Tesla Supercharger has 40 stalls. Of course, I believe some have been upgraded to a V3. I think it may be actually they're all V3s now that I'm thinking about it. And here's the Electrify America station. So let's run over here, park in the shade, and see if we can get this thing to charge up. These are 50 kilowatts, 50 kilowatts. Yeah, that's right. I was talking to EA about this site. They were saying it was hard for them to get the power here. And the reason it doesn't show in the app, I remember why. Silly me, I have the app showing me just 150 kilowatts and more, and all of these are just 50s. But this is sort of their flagship site. So I'm gonna flip the Mustang around, get a cool picture of it charging here, because this is kind of a neat charging station. So you can see here the Electrify America branding. The solar roof is really neat. Looks like it's charging the Mustang just fine. All of the superchargers over there, of course. Big fast charging park. This is really neat. I hope we see more stuff like this. More convenience stores attached. And yeah, beautiful views. This is pretty neat. Well, I was on a phone call for a while, but that's okay. We're in no rush. We are charged up to 70% state of charge. Let's hit stop. Again, only a 50 kilowatt charger. This pack, it's 125 amps. This pack is a 350 volt pack, I believe. Anyway, it's mid 300s. Therefore, that's why we're only getting 43 kilowatts. Because again, it regulates in amps, not really in kilowatts. And there we go, $10.32. I've learned something really interesting. Let me explain. Plug-in charge technology has been really good up until I just had a realization. I just ran out of my 250 kilowatt hour free from Ford thing. And then I realized that they are charging me 43 cents a kilowatt hour. Now I pay $4 a month for Electrify America Pass Plus membership, which buys my rate down to 31 cents per kilowatt hour. There is no way for me to use the plug-in charge on this vehicle and take advantage of my Pass Plus membership. So basically, I just can't use plug-in charge anymore. I have to take out the app, activate it with my app, and use my membership. That just seems pretty silly to me. What do you guys think? Comment below. Well, I almost forgot, but I promised you guys a trip over to the world's tallest thermometer. Let's see. The Mustang says it's 78 degrees outside. That corroborates pretty well with the thermometer over here. Let's take a look and let's see this EV Go station. This should be a pretty good looking station. Here we go to the EV Go fast charging station. Cool that it's labeled. And here it is. I've seen photos of this site, but I've never actually been back here before. And they have like a temperature 134 gift shop of some kind. Check this out. This is pretty dang cool. Nice. You have some 50 kilowatt units. And then we have some Chatamo CCS. I don't even know how to see how fast they are, but check this out. This is so cool. ABB charger. Every charger here is different. Pretty interesting. Welcome to beautiful, I don't even know how to say it, Hesperia, California. Massive install here. We got one Touareg icing us up here. Multiple chargers offline. This is pretty wild. Actually, all of those are offline. These are the only ones with lights on it. Let's take a look. I just plugged in over here because this is the way that I came up. Look at that beautiful view off in the distance. I've activated this with my app because if I use plug-in charge, it bills my credit card at 43 cents per kilowatt hour. Here I pay 31 cents per kilowatt hour. Either way, it's charging. Let's let that go. So this station is online and active. That one's definitely dead. Let's keep taking a look here. This one, oh, online and active. Oh, I must have missed this. This one's online and active. Let's keep taking a look. The iced Touareg, that one's online and active. That one's dead. And how about this one? Online and active. Oh, okay, not too bad. Just two of them are down then. Neat. Well, really nice to see this many plugins here. Not nice to see the Touareg ice in it, but hey, what can you do? Pretty good location too. Pyology, Firehouse subs, really good stuff around here. And the Mustang, of course, looking good. So let's take a look at our charging stuff. We plugged in at 9% state of charge. Great thing that we stopped in Baker, of course. We could have made it to Barstow, maybe. 122 kilowatts, not great. Starting to get chilly out here. We're down into the 60s for sure. And it's cooling off quick. Welcome to the desert. Does not retain heat. So I'm walking over here just to the other side of the parking lot because EA has some extra stalls, which is super interesting that they would put them all the way over here as well. So I've seen this now at a couple Walmarts here in California, only in California, and yep, they're the handicap charging ones. I think there must be a legal requirement for this because this is, yeah, dispenser 10. Here's number 9 and 10. So this one's 150 kilowatt charging, and this one's Chatamo and 150. Pretty interesting. So we have now charged up to 50% state of charge. Here's where we're staying for the night. I just booked a hotel, Town Place Suites in Hawthorne. So it's that, 89 miles to get there, 104 to go, and it's all downhill. So we are good to unplug and go. And yeah, we'll just plug in at the hotel. I made sure they had a charging point, which they do. And folks, we have made it to my hotel here in Los Angeles. Beautiful night out, little windy. We have a great outdoor fire pit right here. Ford Focus Electric charging up, pretty neat to see. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this video here. We've made it 1,030 miles or so from Denver to California. I'm gonna do some reviews of driving this car in the hills in Angeles Forest, shredding it, seeing how it drives in performance situations, cruising in the city, and those videos will all be on out of spec reviews. So make sure you follow. And then we will pick up this video again when we are done range testing the Porsche Taycan rear wheel drive and heading back to Denver in just 2 days from now. One, I get 2 videos out of it, so you guys don't have to ask for more road trips. And 2, it just makes these things a little bit more manageable to watch, I think. So stay tuned for the next road trip, which will be road tripping the Grabber Blue Mustang Mach-E from here in Los Angeles back home to Fort Collins, Colorado. Way big elevation gain. It's going to be a tough one. We'll see if we can do it, and we'll see if the charging gets any better. I'm going to go plug this thing in on the level 2 and get to bed.